Welcome to the Felicitucky Garage. Today, we're going to work on my own vehicle. Transmission overheating sensor needs replaced. So we have to rip out the guts, the battery, the air filter box, and some other shit. Take off a bottom panel from underneath the car to get access to the transmission pan to replace. You ready? You ready? To replace the sensor. Yes. That itty bitty little thing right there. Gotta love it! Yeah, gotta love all these electronics to tell you, you make sure your washer fluid is just the right temperature and, all that kind of important shit. Felicitucky Garage. I did not remove the battery. I did remove the air box. I just disconnected it from that hose. I took that box out because you'll see it's on the side down here. This is the transmission pan that we're getting off. That box was there. And then, I'll climb underneath here in a minute. But I was able to get all those bolts off. Of course, you got to take the return line off, whatever that is. And then just disconnect this bolt so that'll get out of the way. So you can get those bolts on the top of the oil pan. Now let's go underneath. So, this item was in the way. I don't know what it is. And I just unbolted it. I might mess up things. There's the transmission pan. I unbolted it. There's two bolts that rest in like a saddle. I unbolted that and then I just moved it out of the way and actually just stays right out of the way. It's pretty cool. And then I was able to reach all the bolts on this side and all the bolts on the other side with that black box thing out of here. And then, by the way, turn this thing upside down and get a lot of crap out of it. I think it's some extra air volume for the turbocharger, something I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Felicitucky Garage. I had a bear of a time getting that off because two of the bolts, I made a separate video to post for other people that have the same trouble. I had to reach up underneath there and hold vice grips on it because the nut that it goes through just kept turning. Anyway, I got it. Now, we got to get some of the stuff off the top so we can get to the transmission pan. Bye. Welcome to the Felicitucky Garage. On a 2012 Kia, I had trouble getting this shield off the bottom of my car. So the two sticking points are going to be at the front, this one and this one. And I'm going to climb underneath the car. But you'll be able to reach up in there, underneath there, in the corner. You'll be able to reach your hand up in there and get a pair of vice grips on there. Small pair of vice grips, like this. And clamp that on top. And this side too. You're going to reach up there and you're going to clamp it on top. You're going to clamp it on top there. And hold it while you hit it. With the air. Now let's climb underneath there and show you what I mean. It's happening right there. I don't know how to hold this and show you at the same time. See, there's the hole for it. And that whole thing just turns and turns and turns. And I had to get vice grips on it. I don't know how I'm going to fix it before putting it back on, but I am going to fix it somehow. Anyway, so take everything else out at the bottom of it, and then reach up in there with a small pair of vice grips and hold it while you hit it. Felicitucky Garage. Bye. A quick addendum. This air box, when you take the cap off, like you're going to change the air filter, you can pull that hose off there. Then this is still down in there. There's just one 10mm bolt. You take that bolt out, and then it has 3 places in it, plungers. See that plunger? That plunger? I thought there was 3. All right, maybe there's just 2. And anyway, so those plungers, one presses up high near the battery, and the other plunger presses down low kind of where you unbolted it. Hope that helps. And disconnect this air cooler tube. Can you see it? It's off of there. Because otherwise you won't be able to get the pan off, because you have to push this out of your way to get the pan to clear off of here. So that's all you got to do is disconnect that. You don't have to take the whole thing off. Just disconnect that and then it'll push out of the way. And then when you put it back on, it's going to be in the way like that, right against it. And that clamp's a little tight to take off. And alright, so I got this thing out, but nobody shows you in the video how to get these out. They tell you you need to change them. So I used this little screwdriver. It's flattened down pretty good, and I just poked it up underneath there and then lifted up a little bit on it, because there's two little notches underneath here that you need to get that out. So you just pry down and up a little bit when this was in there and it came out. Because it looks like you should pinch these or something, but that's not it. So you want to get pried up in there. So stick it right down in there. Pry down on that plastic. Doesn't matter if you break this, because you're replacing it anyway with a new one. Say hello, wife.
Hello.
Oh, finishing up this Kia thing. What we got going here? We got some Harbor Freight $7 pump and stuff going on. I'm serious. So that stupid little fill tube down there. Anyway, I connected. Let me get around here. Hold that, Judy. Right there. So we tried the funnel, but it didn't get air. So we got this tube that goes down in there. It's connected to this Harbor Freight. You get all these tubes and stuff with it. Anyway, so let me pull this out. Can you see? No, you can't see. I just had that stuck in there like that. You can't put it down anywhere farther because there's a shield there. But believe it or not, we were able to force feed that pretty good. I clamped it here to hold that because, you know, you got to do the pump thing. She held the thing in the bucket and then tilted the bucket when we got down to the edge. That thing, we've used it how many times, Judy? We used it like 4 times since we got it in the past year. And it's helped drain gas, bad gas out of my classic cars. All kinds of stuff. But yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do it with that, with just the funnel, because it doesn't get air. And then even if you lift the funnel up a little bit, it would just leak all over anyway, because it won't go in there fast enough. For some reason with this thing, it force feeds it in there, and we were able to do this in about less than 3 minutes. And it was like, what, 2 quarts? 2.5 quarts. So the Kia's done. I took her for a test drive. She doesn't do that weird shifting anymore. It acted up mostly when it was cold, and then if it gets really hot, then the shifting was weird. PO713, and I think also PO711 or something like that can also be the code for it. But anyway, she's running again, and I'm happy. Them transmission pan, when you put it on, of course the pan's sideways, not like a regular bottom pan. Make sure you clean. I didn't clean the gasket sealer off the old one. All I did, I left the stuff on it, but at the bottom of the pan, where I thought it might have, I have all these kind of sealants. So I actually used, which one did I use? I used this. I used a little bit of this aviation. I just took my finger and just smeared some of it on there with my glove on the pan. So then when I put it on, I tightened them bolts down pretty good. And then one of the hardest parts was getting the transmission fluid back in it, because when we tried to use a funnel, it was just a pain in the butt. Because the funnel, you have to use a long funnel to get down to it, and it would, when you poured the fluid in, it would keep leaking, because it want to get air, it want to bubble up. Anyway, I don't know how to explain it. That's why we use that Harbor Freight thing. But anyway, all's done, and I'm excited. 155,000 miles on my turbo 2012 Kia, and hopefully I can get a few more miles out of her. Bye.